McClain, who's covered the NFL for over 30 years, writes for the Houston Chronicle, covers the Houston Texans as well. One of the best national guys that you could ever talk to. So we're trying to get clarity. We want to start there because obviously, John, Deshaun is from Gainesville, which is north of Atlanta. Folks here familiar with him, obviously goes to Clemson, and he has a big following here. So when this came out, people were like, oh, is there any way the Falcons could trade to make it happen? What are you hearing? What do you know about this whole Deshaun Watson situation?
Well, first I can tell you, Carl, Deshaun Watson will not be traded under any circumstances.
Oh!
He has not told the Texans he wants to be traded. He's wanted to be consulted in the search for the general manager and the search for the head coach. He told the owner, Cal McNair, he reached out to McNair several weeks ago about having lunch, asking him what he was looking for in a head coach. He told him, I want to hire the best head coach possible, offense or defense. And then he said, keep me appraised. And Watson called him 2 or 3 times last time. I don't know if it was before or after their last game when they lost on the last play of the Titans that he put in his 2 cents again. And what's weird about a GM search, players know nothing about general manager candidates because none of us do. We don't know what Nick Caserio did behind the scenes in New England. Nobody knows what a personnel guy does. Now, I go by what people who cover the team up there, people like Ted Johnson who played there when Caserio started. He's covered him for the media 2 different times since his career's ended, people who worked with Caserio. Everywhere, people think Nick Caserio is more deserving of any candidate in the NFL to be a GM because he's never been one. He put in 20 years, and all this stuff with Watson happened before he was hired. And I keep seeing people around the league talking about anonymous sources saying Watson's unhappy that Caserio was hired. No, that's not the case. He's unhappy because they didn't let him know. He wasn't trying to hire the GM, and they told him, we'll let you know on the coach because that's the one that directly affects him. And in Houston, nobody likes the Caserio hire because he came from the Patriots like Bill O'Brien. And anything that's got, if you ever shook hands with Bill O'Brien or he acknowledged you running off the field, people here don't want that person hired. But in New England and around the NFL, the Caserio hiring has been met with a positive response from everybody. I've never heard anything negative about Caserio. And I'm guessing when the Buccaneers are through, Tom Brady might be calling Watson since he's really tight with Caserio and say, man, here's what you're getting. And then, of course, they're still looking for a head coach.
It is John McClain. You recognize the voice, guys. He's been around the league for years and does a great job. Old buddies with Carl from his time at Houston. What happened with Eric Bieniemy, and why is he not getting traction or what's going on? We hear the phrase, some guys don't interview well. What's up with the job in Bieniemy?
Well, I'm amazed because people are saying Watson wants Bieniemy hired. That's not what he said. When we asked him near the end of the year, one of our writers was doing a feature on Bieniemy. So what do you think about Eric Bieniemy? He said, well, I don't know him. I've met him a couple of times at the end of games saying congratulations, but here's what I think. I asked him about Matt Eberflus, the Colts defensive coordinator, who he talked to after the last Colts game on the field, and I said, did it dawn on you? You might have been talking to your next head coach. No, it didn't. What do you think about it? Because he goes up against him twice every year and 3 times in 2018. So he had said great things about Eberflus. Now, the Texans search committee has been talking to people, and it's fine to talk to a general manager, but I've been writing and broadcasting. Why in the world would any search committee that hadn't hired a general manager be talking to head coaches? It's a waste of time. Now Nick Caserio went to work today. He has his list of people that he wants to interview. Started with Leslie Frazier, the Bills' former general manager, who was head coach for a while, and the wide receivers coach, Culley, from the Ravens, and he'll want to interview more because what they did before, Joe Brady, Jim Caldwell, Marvin Lewis, I think they may have talked to one more. And if Eric Bieniemy had talked to them, it'd been a waste of time because then he'd have to talk again to Caserio. And then when you narrow the list, you talk to him again. So you're supposed to do 3 interviews with multiple teams. So I don't know why he wasn't on their list originally. I don't know if he's on Caserio's list or not. I've only seen 2 that have gotten out this morning, but I know there'll be more.